Morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Bugsy's up in front. This might just be another day of 2 videos, depending on how I can squeeze through the content. Please do me a favour, guys. Smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe. Smash the notification bell. And drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the topics that we talk about. Let's start with transfer news. But before I do that, just want to make a quick clarification or a quick update, I guess. Yesterday I did a video, one of them it was about Richarlison and Romero, and based off of the tweets from Tier 1 journalists that they had given an ultimatum to Tottenham. I did say in the video that I didn't know if it was real, and if it was real, if it was true, then what does that say about these two? What does it say about player power generally? But if it wasn't true, then we'll have to just ignore it and move on. I get home, I upload the video, and within minutes, Richarlison's come out and said it's a lie and that he didn't have anything like that in mind, and that his relationship was good, professional and friendly, and even when they fell out, they got back on board very quickly. Look, just like with the initial tweet, I'll say the same with his response. Who knows what's true and what's not, whether it was just fabricated, whether it was misinterpreted, lost in translation, you know, somewhere in between, or whether it was said but not caught on camera. Who knows? Who knows? Either way, I'm probably going to take the opportunity here to give the benefit of the doubt to our players rather than to a journalist. And so I'll say, let's presume then that it didn't happen and there's nothing to see here, which is good news. Good news, because it would be horrible to think that we have that kind of mercenary mindset within certain players. I'm happy to report that bit. Right, transfer news today, guys, and there's a few going around. First and foremost, Clement Lenglet. Yesterday, I forgot to tell you about this yesterday, but allegedly he is in advanced talks, or Tottenham are in advanced talks with Barcelona to secure a permanent transfer of about 11.5 million quid for him. I'll come out and say it. For me, I don't want it. I got him, I predicted a better season for him than I thought. If you remember, a lot of last summer I spent on different channels going through the statistics of his previous 2 years at Barca and the 2 years before that, and looking at the data with, you know, his on-the-ball activities, his ability to pass and move the ball forward into progressive areas, looking so healthy, even in spite of the fact that he had a horrible time at Barcelona and was disliked by so many people. I was kind of optimistically thinking, well, we need a player that can play really well on the ball, and if he's good enough off the ball, and all that might take is someone to put an arm around him and let him know that he's loved, then maybe we'll see the very best version of Lenglet, and it could be an absolute winner chicken dinner. I don't think that's the version of him that we've seen. Personally, I do think he's very good on the ball, but defensively I think he's just far too slow. He gets turned inside and out by any right winger who's got, you know, pace and trickiness and technical abilities, and most teams in the Premier League have one of those types of players. There was quite a few examples of situations last season where I was just thinking this guy is just far too slow to turn and far too slow, and he can't be ran at, or he's not successful when he's ran at, rather. And so, look, I think if Tottenham do sign him, it's a financial decision rather than what's best for the football team. Our defence this season has been, you know, absolutely rocky and very disappointing, and he's played, you know, a large part within that squad. For the first half of the season, I was probably making the argument that he was probably our best defender, but that wasn't I didn't mean he was doing particularly well, because the standard was so low. As the season's gone on, though, I think he's been exposed a little bit for his, as I say, his pace, lack thereof, and his inability to turn quickly. So I'm not on board it. I don't want him to be made permanent. If he does, I think it will go down like a pint of warm sick with the fans, and it will be another nail in, you know, Daniel Levy's reputation or people's faith in him in that coffin. So I'll say no, but, you know, according to some reports, talks are in advanced stages, so we'll see what happens. Next up is Evan Ferguson, Brighton 18-year-old Irish kid, very, very highly rated. People are talking about him as a future £100 million player. 6'1", 6'2", 1.5 maybe. I wouldn't say he's the quickest at full pace, but he's certainly deceptively quick over short distances. He's very happy to work with his back to goal, very strong, can hold the ball up. And, you know, for his opening season, has done really well. 10 games, I think it's 3 goals, maybe 11 games and 3 goals in the Premier League for an 18-year-old. It's no small feat. And look, he's got an amazing first touch. The deftness of his first touch is absolutely phenomenal for someone of that age. It's a natural ability. For me personally, I think he won't come to Tottenham. Tottenham are apparently, according to Ben Jacobs, one of several clubs that are, you know, genuinely interested. Legitimate interest is the quote. I don't think he'll come to Tottenham. You know, even though if Harry Kane does leave the club in the summer, we're not going to have any appeasement for the fans by signing an 18-year-old. Doesn't matter how much talent he has. He might be one for the future, but I don't think he'll be one for the future at Tottenham. And I just think he'll come with a hefty price tag as well, which Tottenham are going to need to have every penny that we've got available to fill bigger holes. Obviously, the centre-back is one of those, and we'll hope that Clement Lenglet isn't one of the options. The other position that is necessary to fill and improve on is the goalkeeping spot. And there's 2 stories out today regarding that. One of them is just bonkers, so I'll get that one out of the way, and that's David De Gea from Manchester United. Manchester United are looking to upgrade their goalkeeping options, and at 32 years old, David De Gea may be surplus to interest, surplus to requirements. He's on a ridiculously high salary of 375 grand a week. And if there's truth to the idea that Erik ten Hag wants to bring down that kind of average salary and introduce a salary cap, then he might find it's easier to try and move on David De Gea and go after another target, which we'll talk about in a second. But the idea of David De Gea coming to Tottenham is ridiculous. Short of David De Gea, sacrificing 70% of his wages, there's no chance Daniel Levy would break the wage structure for him. He's 32. It's not a Daniel Levy signing, within the club's ethos, and so I give that particular angle a 0 out of 10 chance. But it was in the press, so I thought I'd bring it to you. The one that does have some legs to it, I would imagine, is David Raya. David Raya is the Brentford goalkeeper. News out this morning that Manchester United and Tottenham are handed a huge boost in their pursuit of one-to-way Brentford goalkeeper David Raya, as the Bees pursue a move for Freiburg's Mark Flecken after the Spaniard rejected 2 contract extensions in West London. Again, Tottenham and Manchester United are interested in him. I think every Tottenham fan would welcome him with open arms. I think he's got 10 clean sheets this season. A really, really good talent. I think he probably cost something like 40 million quid. And again, is that going to be a stumbling block for Tottenham? Depends how we finish the season. If we get into top 4, you never know. Maybe they'll open the purse strings to appease some of the very disgruntled Tottenham fans. If we don't, if we finish, and I think it's more likely to happen this way, that we'll finish 5th, 6th or 7th or even 8th, then I think that the budgets will be, tighter than they have been over the last couple of seasons. And with the amount of holes we need to fill, I don't know if we'll be able to afford a £40 million goalkeeper. Although, if we want to compete, if we want to be taken seriously, there's something we absolutely need to get our head around. The inflation in player salaries and player transfer fees is what it is. If you want, not even the best, if you want very good, you have to pay significant fees. The reason why I find all this absolutely bonkers is because who is deciding whether or not we're interested in these players? Is it all just clickbait journalism? Should we all just kind of ignore and forget? Bugsy, come here, please. Transfer dealings right now. We have a director of football who should have resigned already in Fabio Paratici. He should have fallen on his sword like most of the other Juventus directors did, who were accused and found guilty of what was going on. He didn't, I guess, because he thought the ban is not going to impact his job if it's just in Italy. And there's also an appeals process going on. Daniel Levy looks very much in the mud on this one for hanging on to or sticking by a director of football that, you know, has brought the club into disrepute and makes us look like an absolute circus. What I would say though, I'm not defending Daniel Levy on this one, but if there was a defence as an argument to be made, then it would probably be that due process has not been complete. He was found guilty, fine, but the appeal was going on, and it's supposed to be, you know, the decision, the verdict on that is supposed to come down within the next 3 weeks. If the appeal was overturned or, you know, the conviction upheld, then I would imagine that Daniel Levy would have to part ways with Fabio Paratici. The other thing, of course, guys, on that one is that it's very odd to me that FIFA would jump the gun and approve the Italian prosecutor's request to extend the ban globally. The appeal hasn't finished. Due process has not been complete. For FIFA to enact it now, I think is odd, because look, they could just wait 3 weeks, find out if the appeal is denied, and then of course they extend it, and then in all likelihood Daniel Levy and Fabio Paratici part ways, and Tottenham Hotspur can sack with due cause, all those sorts of things. But for them to extend the ban before the appeal, in a scenario where the appeal is upheld and the conviction overturned, then Paratici can get back on with his job, nothing to see here kind of thing, even though the reputation won't go away because mud sticks. But maybe Daniel Levy then has got every right to start litigation processes against FIFA. So for me, it's a very strange decision with the timing. The benefit of making the decision now versus the potential risk, rather than just waiting until April the 19th, doesn't add up to me. The whole thing seems very odd, but it is what it is. So, who's making the decisions for these transfers? I don't know if it's all just paper talk, but the Daniel Levy right now should not be sitting there figuring out whether he wants Clement Lenglet. Daniel Levy needs to be figuring out what the hell's going on with the football club and what to do about Paratici and what to do about a manager, and for the managerial position of the first team ladies coach, and also to see if there's any chance at all, not that I think there is, of convincing Harry Kane to stay. There's bigger priorities than worrying about Clement Lenglet or David De Gea or David Raya or Evan Ferguson. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.